I'm going to invite Matt to share with us a little bit about Soundview Camp. He came from a camp down south of Gig Harbor to be with us today, and I think it's really helpful for us all to be aware of the Presbyterian camps in the region that are a resource for us to use as family camps and advertising for our kids to go to camp together, things like that. And I know in my experience working at a camp, it's a fabulous, intense, really positive experience. And we'd love to hear a little bit about what would you teach us, what would you share with us about what works when you're at camp working and engaging with kids that you would share as we reflect on how we engage with kids in the church.
Thanks, Jennifer. So I do work for Soundview Camp and Retreat Center, which is owned by the Olympia Presbytery. It's about an hour and a half away from here. Other camps in the area, Presbyterian camps, there's also Tall Timber, which I'm sure many of you are aware of. And then other camps in the state are Gormley Meadows down by White Pass, and then Camp Spalding over in Spokane. I think one of the biggest things that come back to in camping ministry is the fact that a lot of people call it a sanctuary. And there's obviously some things that make it unique, not being in church. We're out on 105 acres in the middle of the woods, on the Puget Sound. Not a lot of churches have that kind of facilities. But I think, so in addition to that, one of the things that we do is we're kind of a sanctuary from technology, which is such a prevalent thing in today's world. Summer camp is pretty much the only place I can think of where, a fourth grader is going to spend a week and not watch TV at all. And that's, depending on what study you see, kids are watching seven hours of TV a day, which is, I was one of those kids growing up, so I can believe it. But we really try to create a space where kids can feel safe to be who they are, which, is something that I'm sure churches try to do too in the children's ministries. And even more than a place where technology is not being used, in a place that's in the middle of nature, I think the ways that we try to do that are similar to some of the things that were mentioned today. Trying not to trivialize children's spirituality, listening to them for what they have to say, not trying to put our ideas, giving them space to kind of work out their own spirituality in a place where they're loved by people who love Christ. And then also just, I think a lot of times society tries to put kids into boxes and says, okay, this is who you are, this is what we expect from you. And that can even happen unintentionally, like, oh, that kid's the troublemaker. And so even if he's not going to be, like, as soon as you put that label on the kid, you all of a sudden look at him differently. And that's one of the great things about camp is that we don't know these kids when they first show up. Like, we can't put them in boxes. We have to just accept them for who they are and love them for who they are. And it does get harder as we get to know them more, because we do start to see, oh, you're the sporty kid, you're the one that likes to answer all the questions.
The kid with the sticks.
What was that? Yeah, the kid that's got the big stick that's you have to take away from them. But just remembering that kids are trying to help them grow into who God's calling them to be, as opposed to who we think they should be. So I think those are kind of, really briefly, those are some of the more impactful ways that Soundview and other summer camps try to work with children. And then on the flip side, something that's hard is that we have kids, and I'm sure this is true in your ministries too, but we have kids that come and have this great experience and learn about Jesus and want to have a relationship, and then they go home to families where that's not that's not something that's even talked about. If you know, even if they go to church, let alone the families who are, you know, don't even attend church or talk about Christianity at all. And it's hard to have those kids come for a week or 2 weeks during the summer and really have these powerful experiences, and then know you're sending them home into something that's not going to nurture that. Which again, I'm sure is something that most of us have experienced in our ministries. So.
Thanks for sharing that. Any other burning questions, pressing items that anybody really wanted to ask before we close? Thank you all for, again, taking time out of your Saturday morning for being here. I hope that you walk away with some new insights or new relationships, and I look forward to continued conversation with everybody. So thank you for coming.
Thank you all.
Thanks.